I'm Jane Reardon with the Illinois Supreme Court Commission on Professionalism. Welcome to our Reimagining Law series. Late last year, the Commission on Professionalism celebrated its 15-year anniversary. I have with me here today two individuals who were instrumental in setting up and building the Commission on Professionalism. Retired Illinois Supreme Court Justice Robert Thomas and Circuit Court of Cook County Judge Debra Walker, who also was a former chair of the commission. Thank you both for joining me and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jane.
Thanks. It's great being here, Jane.
I'm going to jump right in on this. Justice Thomas, you established the Commission on Professionalism in 2005 when you became Chief Justice. What was the reason? What were the challenges you were trying to address?
Well, Jane, in August of 2001, I was asked to participate in a symposium called the Roger O'Reilly Civility and Advocacy Symposium. And it was to discuss matters of civility and advocacy, matters that had gone wrong. There were about 100 participants, judges and lawyers. It was a great seminar. However, the realization came that we were preaching to the choir. The people in attendance were those that were civil lawyers. In fact, it was named after Roger O'Reilly, as I mentioned, who was a very professional and known for his civility. So more work had to be done in the area of civility and advocacy. Unfortunately, our profession was really eroding into Rambo-style tactics. And unlike people who say, hey, I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV, too many lawyers were acting as if they were playing one on TV. So more work had to be done.
Judge Walker, you were a member of the Committee on Civility that was established by the court under Justice Thomas. What was your perspective of the issues back then in 2002?
Well, as I recall, we were founded in the fall of 2001 when I received appointment to the court's Committee on Civility. And I was a practicing attorney at that time, a trial lawyer. There were a lot of issues regarding civility, the Rambo tactics that Justice Thomas just described, but also some some harassing behaviors. So, there were things like that happening back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And I think that was part of the reason for the vision that Justice Thomas had in asking the court to establish the committee. And then when he became chief, to make this a permanent commission of the court. And I really give him all of the credit and for his leadership and his vision in transitioning us from a committee that was sort of temporary in nature to a more permanent commission to continue to work on these really important issues for the profession.
The Commission on Professionalism really relies heavily on education to promote its professionalism initiative. And Illinois became a leader in recommending that part of the professional responsibility CLE requirement must be taken in the area of diversity and inclusion, and another hour in mental health and substance abuse. And Judge Walker, you were the chair of the commission when you made that recommendation to the court. What were the reasons for that?
Well, there were a few reasons, Jane. One was that we had studied at the commission the frequency with which courses in these areas of professionalism were being offered, and they weren't being offered very often. Most prominently, the offerings were about ethics and not really some of the other very relevant areas of professionalism. So we wanted to increase the offerings. We also wanted to increase the quality of those offerings if we could, and we could achieve that by making it mandatory. But even more importantly, with regard to mental health and substance abuse education, we found that many people probably were not registering for those courses because of some potential for being stigmatized, stigma people might think, well, if I sign up for a course on mental health and substance abuse, people will think that I have mental illness issues. And of course, the way that we can approach that by making it mandatory, we immediately destigmatize because everybody is required to take that coursework. And sort of similarly with the diversity and inclusion area, we found that most of the people who would attend the courses that were offered were women and people of color. But by making it mandatory, we were no longer, to borrow a phrase Justice Thomas has used here today, we were no longer just preaching to the choir. We were reaching basically men and white men who also needed to hear the topics being addressed under the diversity and inclusion umbrella.
Yeah, the decision makers. Yeah. Justice Thomas, tell me about why the court accepted that recommendation.
Jane, it was really an easy sell. I knew it was going to be an easy sell. In my 20 years there, every single term that the Supreme Court was in would have disciplinary cases, lawyers' disciplinary cases come before the court. And a large portion of those cases involved lawyers that were either had mental health, alcoholism issues, drug issues, maybe to a lesser extent, the whole diversity aspects of the rule, but certainly the entire court was aware of the importance that lawyers be educated to try to help at the front end rather than the back end of these problems, and sometimes avoid the discipline that we had to invoke as a result of the problems.
The Commission on Professionalism over the last 15 years has had its finger in a lot of professionalism pots, so to speak. Justice Thomas, from your perspective, what has been the most significant accomplishment of the Commission on Professionalism?
Jane, and you should be commended on this, as well as all of the staff and directors. When, as Chief Justice, you always have your pet projects, and mine was professionalism. And I still remember, as if it was yesterday, the press coming to me after the Professionalism Commission was formed and say, why would you put a glaring spotlight on a perceived deficiency in the profession, namely professionalism and civility and the lack thereof? And I know what the implication of the question is, that we were just doing something that may have been topical and aspirational and get an attaboy from certain sectors to say, oh, we're trying to do something. But the purpose was try to make professionalism and civility not as much aspirational as something tangible, something that can be touched, something palpable, and look to change. And when I look back at the commission, that's exactly what's happened, whether it is addressing law students, their first year of law school, and talking about the importance, mentoring when they get out of law school, CLE programs, the internet and how that's been used as far as the website and getting articles to the lawyers. It's become a tangible thing. And I think that's terrific for the profession, and the commission should really be applauded.
Thank you. Judge Walker, what's been the best accomplishment from your perspective?
Well, certainly one of my favorites is our courthouse professionalism trainings. We have been all over the state, deep in Southern Illinois, Central Illinois, Northern Illinois, and even here in Chicago. The very first one was conducted in 2010 for the Parentage Court part of the Circuit Court of Cook County. We decided that it would be really smart and appropriate to train up everybody who interacted with the public. So not just lawyers and judges, but we had hearing officers, we had sheriff's deputies, court reporters, interpreters, the clerks, the coordinators, everybody who interacted with the public. We got everybody out of their individual silos working together to administer justice in a professional manner. And we've continued to offer those courthouse professionalism trainings, like I said, around the state. I think we've done at least 10 of them. Some of them have been for multiple counties in the same circuit, like the one we did in Quincy, Illinois. 8 counties sent their representatives for that training. And we always survey the folks who attend both before and after these courthouse professionalism trainings. And that's how we can gauge that we are making a difference, because the attendees report that they feel that they have improved their professionalism after we've done the trainings in those locales. So that's something I'm very proud of that we started and we continue to do. And I'm also incredibly proud of the social media outreach of the Commission on Professionalism to some 5 million users at this point. We knew when we started the commission that to really reach all of the state of Illinois, we wouldn't have enough staff for people to be throughout the state, so we had to reach them electronically. Illinois is a big state, especially from the northern part to the southern part. But we've not only accomplished reaching the entire state electronically, we've reached the nation. And we've even reached international folks, because that was illustrated by one of our staff members being asked to present to a group of Chinese lawyers who had read all about us on the internet. So I think we really need to congratulate the commission on its social media outreach. It's been just amazing.
Thank you so much, Judge Walker. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that you ended your term as a commissioner, sadly, at the end of last year. And nonetheless, you still use the possessives we and our. You bleed the professionalism principles in the commission. And I have thoroughly enjoyed working with you all those years and appreciate you coming on today. I appreciate you, Justice Thomas, as well. Thanks for joining me. And thank you, folks, for joining us today. Please like and share this video and stay connected with us to learn about upcoming episodes. Ways to keep in touch with us are in the notes below. Thanks for watching and be well.